Hello, grade 7 students. This is day 18 of STP Mathematics 2A lesson series. Hope you can remember yesterday we made a solid, the tetrahedron. But later I thought that rather just explaining it on the sheet itself, I want to do them with you, that I want to show you how I'm creating or how I'm making those solids, right? So then I will bring a separate video, short video series and show you how I'm doing step by step, that how I do the net and construct the net and how I cut it and how I am going to paste it and make the final version. Therefore, I thought to stop that making the solids like this through these videos. So then it is not practical. Yesterday that when I was watching the video back, so I felt, no, this is not something practical. So then I want to show it. Then you can do it with me. For that, I'll select a Saturday or that kind of a holiday. So then all of you, definitely that I'll tell you in advance. So this is what you want to bring and this is how you want to be ready for that. And we will do them together. I think it's more practical. So that I'm just showing everything on the screen. If you can see me, that how I'm doing it and everything. So it will be a live session. Please be ready. I'll bring that live session soon before your formative assessment, the first formative assessment. So then today I'm planning to start a new lesson, that is scale drawing. This is related to the construction, children, right? So what is scale drawing? Now you just see, if you are asked to draw a car park, it is a rectangular shape and the measurements are 50 meters and 25 meters. Obviously, you can't draw it full size on your paper, right? So you can't draw 50 meters and 25 meters on your book or on your paper. No, it is not possible. So to fit it onto your page, what we have to do, children, we'll have to scale down the measurement. That means we'll have to make it smaller, right? So scale down, right? We'll make it smaller. So then here, throughout this session, what we are going to do, that something, the real world, we see that something, and we are going to take the same thing onto our paper, but in a different size. So then that scaling down, that we can't do it as we wish. So before we draw it on our paper, that we want to have an exact measurement. So this is what I'm going to do. If I tell you an example, let's say that if they have given something like this. So here it is not 1 centimeter equal to 1 meter, right? So this is not, right? The scale is what? 1 centimeter. 5 meters represent by 1 centimeter. This is the correct way of writing the scale. Okay. So what does this mean, children? If you come across with something in the real world with 5 meter length, you use only 1 centimeter on your book. That's the meaning of this scale. Okay. Always you want to show that what is your scale, that what you have used as the scale before you are going for drawing. Any drawing that you want to first explain that the scale you selected. It can be anything. It can be that depends on your situation. You can select that maybe that the 10 meters will be represented by 1 centimeter. That here they have taken 5 meters will be represented by 1 centimeter. So that this is how we explain or illustrate the scale. Quickly I summarize. We have something big and I want to draw it on my book. Can I draw that big thing as it is? No, it is not possible. So I want to scale down it. I want to make it smaller. How I'm going to make it smaller? Every 5 meter I see on the ground or in the real scenario, I draw only 1 centimeter on my book. That's the condition, or that's my plan, right? This depends on the situation, that maybe that this is not the scale that I'm going to use forever. I'm just showing here with the example. If according to this scale, if I see 5 meters, I draw only 1 centimeter length. Okay. So then we will move to the example. Hope all of you have understood what you want to do, children. You take your theory book and put the date. Right? Listen to me. Put the date and write that chapter 5 scale drawing in pink color. Right? Chapter 5 scale drawing, pink color. Then write down the subtopic, accurate drawing with scale down measurement. So that is the subtopic, okay, in black color. Then in blue color, you write the first statement like this. And then the second statement, you don't want to put the numbers, I'm just showing you. And when I'm asking you to write the two statements like this, children, you write the first statement and keep one line, and then you write the second statement, right? In this case, you could use that the one that this is, then you write the third point, you write 1 centimeter, that here 5 meter. What does this mean? So 5 meter, the real picture, let's say the 5 meter of real image, right? And then 1 centimeter of the scale drawing, right? Scale drawing. This is what you want to write. Then you know every 5 meter, that every 1 centimeter represent 5 meters, right? Simply if I say that the every 1 centimeter represents 5 meters of the real image, right? So if first you write down all these things, pause the video and write down it. Then I'm moving to the example. You just see, right? I'll show you the example well. The end wall of a bungalow is a rectangle with a triangular top, right? The rectangle and a triangular top. The rectangle measures 6 meters. Here, this is the real, right? This is the real image, right? This is the real image. 6 meters the length and the width 3 meters. And then the base of the triangle is 6 centimeters and slope in sides are 4 meters. Now you can see this is the real image. Can I draw 6 meters on my book or 3 meters on my book? No, right? So then I want to have a scale to scale down to make this smaller and to do the construction. And here they have mentioned using 1 centimeter to 1 meter scale. That means whenever you have 1 meter, you draw only 1 centimeter. In that case, children, if that is 6 centimeters, I want to draw 6 centimeters now. If it is 3 meters, it should be 3 centimeters now. If it is 4 meters, that should be 4 centimeters. So this is the rough sketch. This is the rough sketch. Okay. This is the rough sketch based on the scale. Based on the scale. Okay, so you want to first write down this example, the question example, the whole thing, the paragraph in your writing book. Then this is the first thing. Don't put the numbers. I'm just putting the numbers to show you the flow. And then you draw the real image. And then you draw the rough image or the rough sketch. Right? Okay. So hope you are ready and take your compass, protractor, ruler, sharpened pencils, erasers and everything, because now we are going to construct this, right? Now we know the rough sketch based on the scale. What is the scale they have used? If need, you can write 1 centimeter and 1 meter. You can show the scale also, then it is more clear, right? Okay, so now I'm going to do the construction. So here I have the rough sketch, right? So let's say that I have the rough sketch like this, okay? And here I know this should be 90 degrees. This is 6 centimeters. This is 4 centimeter and this, not 4, sorry, it should be 3, right? It should be 3, not 4. 3 centimeter, and here it is 3 centimeter, 4 centimeter, and 4 centimeter. So this is my rough sketch. Now what you want to do, children, please draw. And when you are doing something like this, that keep the enough space on top, right? Otherwise that you can't complete the construction. Here that I just go down and I draw a free line like this. And I mark a particular point like this, right? I mark a particular point like this. And I open my compass and measure 6 centimeters, right? I open my compass. Now you know these terms, right? You have watched my construction video. You know that what I mean here. I open my compass and measure 6 centimeters. And I keep the point here and draw the arc, right? So then here, 6 centimeters from here to here. Then what I do, children, I make it smaller, the compass, and I draw the 2 arcs like this. And I draw the 2 arcs. How? That I keep the point here, right? And draw the 2 arcs. Then I extend the line like this. Keep the ruler, extend. What I did, children? I created the 90 degree here. The same way, without changing my compass, I draw the 2 arcs like this, and then I come here, and then I have this thing, and come here, and I have this thing, and again I do the same thing. I draw the dotted lines like this. You pause the video and do it with me, children. Now I have the other 90 degree. Okay. So then here, what is the length? That the 3 height, 3 centimeters. I measure 3 centimeters. I measure 3 centimeters and keep the point here. So then here I mark it, and so I mark it like this. So you come to these 2 points and mark the 3 centimeter line. Here you write 3 centimeter and 3 centimeter. I'm using different colors to show you, children. You are doing all these steps with the help of the pencil, right? I'm just showing with the colors, then you know that what are the related the arcs, no? Right? So then from that point that you want to measure 4 centimeters, you open your compass and take 4 centimeters, right? So then you measure that, you draw an arc here from this point. You draw an arc here from this point, that is centimeter, 4 centimeter. You draw another arc, and then you join these. Still, I didn't complete the image. I'm just drawing this, just drawing the something like this. Right? Here it is 4 centimeters and 4 centimeters. I'm going to take total different color. Let's say this one. So then I take my ruler, I join them. Now I have the structure as it is. And I take the ruler and I measure the height. What they ask in the question, find the distance from the ground to the ridge of the roof. So then this one you want to find, right? So then if I mark this as A and this as B, you want to measure this AB length, right? If you have done this correctly, you should get something similar to 5.6 centimeters. It can be 5.5 sometimes. It can be 5.7 sometimes, right? There can be a slight difference, but this is how you want to do. Now, in this drawing, you have 5.6 centimeters And what was the scale, children? The scale was that 1 centimeter represent 1 meter. So that means if it is 5.6 centimeters, the real world length should be 5.6 meters. So then what they ask, the distance from the ground to the ridge of the rope, it is just 5.6 meters. Hope it is clear. First you copy down the statement or the paragraph here. Then you draw the real image. Then you draw the rough sketch and write down the rough sketch based on the scale, and inside the bracket you show the scale. Then you start constructing this. How I started, can you remember? I repeat the step. First I drew a free line here. I mark a particular point, right? And I took the compass and measure 6 centimeters, and I drew the arc and mark 6 centimeter here. Okay. Then I take my compass and make it smaller, because then the compass is now open to 6 centimeters now. I make it smaller and I kept my point here and I drew these 2 arcs, and I kept my point here and I drew these 2 arcs. Without changing my compass, I come to this point and I drew this arc, and came to this point and I drew this arc, and came to this point and I drew this one, came to this point and I drew this one, and using the ruler, I had the dotted line like this here. Why I did like that? To draw the 90 degree or the construct the 90 degree here. After that, I want to mark the height of this building, that 3 centimeter thing. I open the compass and measure it to the 3 centimeter. And from this point, I mark the arc. And from this point, I mark the arc and then the 3 centimeter part done. Again, I measure 4 centimeters from my compass. And then from these 2 points, that you start from here and draw the arc here, and you come to this point and you draw the arc like this. And the point that here, that first you had the dotted lines like this. Now that my the image is complete. Now this is very similar to the original image or the real image. And what I did, I took my pencil and I completed my diagram like this, because I had the dotted lines, and then I completed it with the darker line. And I have all the measurements with the help of the ruler, and I measured from distance from A to B. It gave me the answer 5.6, or that if your drawing is correct, it should be closer to 5.6. It can be 5.5 or 5.7. And according to this scale, I know every 1 centimeter represents 1 meter. So then if there is 5.6 centimeters, in the real image, it should be 5.6, right? So this is all about the scale drawing. So then what you can do, children, you can do question number 1, and the scale they have given 1 centimeter to 1 meter, right? You can do that. And you can do these 2, that's enough, right? The first one and the second one. They have given the measurements in meters. You can see 6 meters, 6 meters, 10 meters, 5 meters. So these are the real image. When you have the real image, first what you want to do, children? You want to have the rough sketch based on the scale they have given, right? Always that when you're starting a sum or the construction related to scale drawing, first you write down the scale. Here the scale is 1 centimeter to 1 meter. Then you draw the real picture with the meter value. Then you draw the rough sketch with the centimeter value, right? Then only you start doing the construction, right? So you can do question number 1 and 2, right? So then I will discuss how to do it. After that, we want to move to another 2 concepts called angle of elevation and angle of depression, right? So then we will move to those 2 concepts after doing these 2 scale drawings. Okay, children, we'll meet again next day. I know this is kind of interesting but challenging, right? But what you want to do, if you are not thorough with this, please watch my construction video. Then I explain you a few geometry theories, right? Geometry theories which you have learned in grade 6, right? Then yesterday we started making solid, but I'm not trying to continue it because I want to make it a live session and I'll bring it separately. And today I started the scale drawing. Again, it is related to the construction topic. Therefore, please be thorough with all the construction steps and the terminologies. When I ask you to open the compass and measure something, you should be able to do it sooner, that you know that what I'm talking about. And when I ask you to bisect the line, so then you know what I'm asking you to do, that you want to make divide exactly into two parts. Then if I'm asking you to bisect the angle, you know what to do. If it is the 60-degree angle, that you know how to construct it. If it is a 45, you know how to construct it. So then be thorough with all the construction steps and do these two sums as the homework. We'll meet again next day. Until then, stay safe. Bye.